Hello. Is this on? Yes, good. Hello and good morning. Welcome to Amherst, Massachusetts, and welcome to the first annual International Conference on Automated Knowledge-Based Discovery. I'm Andrew McCallum, the General Chair, and I'm so happy that you're all here. So about 9 years ago, when I was on sabbatical in Grenoble, they invited me to organize a workshop on any topic that I liked. And so at that time, we organized the first workshop on automated knowledge-based discovery and had a delightful collection of people there. We had a lot of really great scientific presentations, a lot of scientific brainstorming, continued scientific discussions over really nice, fine French dinners with really excellent food. Another key part of the event was that we went on an afternoon walk on the second day. Here, there was a walk in the Alps, and the scientific discussion really continued during that walk. There's a delightful thing about walking together and talking and brainstorming all at once. Here's Gerhard Weikum on his way up a particular peak in the Alps. A small set of us also later went on a longer hike later, in which in the beginning we thought it would be a bad day because it was kind of cloudy, the weather didn't look so good, but then what we realized as we climbed higher is that we were actually popping above the clouds and had this beautiful view of Mont Blanc off in the distance above the sea of clouds. I'd never seen anything like that before. And then it was topped when one of our local research friends who was with us on the hike, Guillaume Bouchard, pulled out of his backpack this massive corkscrew and this bottle of wine from his own father's vineyard. And we had a little wine there on the summit. All right, so the group had so much fun and valued so much the scientific discussion that we were having that we wanted to have more. And so since then, pretty much every year and a half, there's been a workshop on automated knowledge-based discovery, and the community has really grown to the point that it's been sometimes difficult for us to fit into a workshop venue. And in parallel to this growth over time, increased in knowledge bases has really been increasing in industry as well, for general knowledge, for products, knowledge bases of companies, and there's pretty much not a major internet company around that does not have a significant effort in building knowledge bases. And of course, there are many examples of more topically specific knowledge bases built by both for-profit companies and nonprofits. And then just this year, NSF announced a major new program called the Open Knowledge Network that's striving to build an intranet of knowledge bases, connecting knowledge bases from all over, very much the same way that the internet connected what had previously been a lot of separate networks. So many of these knowledge bases that exist right now have been symbolic graphs with nodes for entities and edges for these relations. But of course, there's been increased interest and success in machine learning and natural language processing in building up neural representations and operating directly over text, where the knowledge base itself is maybe just the raw text itself with machine learning methods for indexing into that raw text, or even the knowledge base is in latent parameters of this text. And so this creates some interesting dichotomy and has people like me and many others very interested in the smooth continuum between these kinds of representations. And I think we're going to hear a lot more about those today. After this series of workshops, we finally decided that it's time to create a conference. And why? Well, there's just been so much interest and so much material that we just no longer fit in just a one-day workshop. We really had enough enthusiasm for 3 days worth of material. We as a community really wanted to set our own culture, set our own style of doing reviewing, set our own meeting format. And then also a not insignificant factor is that so many of the other conferences that we all love are just getting frankly way too big. One of my students submitted a paper to NIPS just for the past abstract deadline, very close to the final deadline, and it was numbered something like very close to 10,000, actually. And so Fernando and I were just talking the other day about how should we respond. Part of it is by creating some new venues in which we can recapture some of the benefits of a smaller group. We also wanted to reach out in more directions, to build a more diverse community for AKBC across many different scientific fields. So we're really striving to bring together both machine learning and knowledge representation, natural language processing, information retrieval and question answering, applications to many different areas, knowledge representation and reasoning, and folks from the Semantic web community, as well as people thinking about the systems issues here, databases, information integration, distributed processing, as well as human computation and HCI. I'd like to give a big thanks to our sponsors. I've been both the program chair and general chair of a conference before, and those were difficult. But creating a brand new conference from scratch was a new level, and it really would not have been possible, especially as a new conference without our sponsors. Thank you very much. I'd also like to give a big thanks to our local staff, without whom this would not have been possible at all. We'll thank them further later. They are here. They are wearing red caps with an AKBC logo on them, and we also have student volunteers doing the same. So if you need anything, feel free to approach any of them. Lastly, just a few logistics. There are restrooms in the basement, 2 sets of stairs down. There's also an accessible restroom on this level over here. At lunchtime, we're just walking somewhere close on campus. There'll be further directions about that. And the tents just outside this building are for our use. They're not labeled AKBC, but they were put up for us. And we'll use those for lunch tomorrow, but they're also available during the breaks if the room downstairs gets crowded. All right, and with that, I'd like to turn things over to one of our 2 program chairs, Isabelle Augustin, to tell us about the program.
Thank you. A very warm welcome also from me. I'm Isabelle Augenstein. I'm one of the 2 program co-chairs. We have some more organizers, so not just Andrew, Samir, and me, but we also had some workshop organizers, funding chairs, local co-chairs, website chair, and also Pamela, who was really instrumental in making this all happen. So thank you to everyone. A few words about submissions. So we had 51 papers submitted. Just under half of them were accepted. There was the option of saying if the paper should be archival or non-archival, and authors could switch, could decide later on what they wanted. One paper was withdrawn. And we made no difference in the decision process for archival versus non-archival submissions, so both of them were judged the same. We ended up with 20 archival and 4 non-archival papers, which we're really, really happy about, that so many people wanted to actually have their paper be part of the AKBC proceedings. Then following up from what Andrew said about bringing different fields together, we also had area chairs for different areas, and we actually saw that the papers belonged to different areas, so natural language processing, question answering, reasoning, then applications like biomedical knowledge bases, database cleansing, and so on. Lots and lots of different areas, so that was also something we were very happy about. We would like to thank our area chairs and reviewers for being so diligent with reviewing papers and for helping us to select the program. Yes, and then I will turn over the slides to Samir.
Thanks, Isabel. We have a pretty exciting schedule as well. The backpack should have a printed schedule if you guys want a reference to what's happening next. We have an exciting set of invited speakers ranging from different areas of research, machine learning, databases, NLP, all different. And they're also from very different backgrounds, from the industry, from academia, so we're pretty excited about our set of speakers. On the 3rd day, on 22nd, we're going to have 4 workshops, sort of 2 in parallel, half-day workshops. 2 of them are going to be in the morning, and 2 in the afternoon. The morning ones are the scientific literature knowledge bases in multiple modalities. In the afternoon, we'll have neural and symbolic representation and reasoning, and federated knowledge bases. Finally, we'll also have 3 Best Paper Awards in our Best Paper Awards session tomorrow. The Best Research Paper and the Best Application Paper have been decided and announced. And there'll also be a Best Poster Award, which we're going to determine during the poster session today. And also, there was a slight change in the schedule because Danchi couldn't make it today. Haifeng and Danchi are going to be swapping their talk. So that's going to be different from what's